Hey guys, thanks for checking out my videos on YouTube and watching me hit some of the persimmons that I have in my collection. A couple of viewers mentioned, my friend Jack actually has always said, can you get some close-ups of the heads and with detail and real high definition? So I'm going to try to do that today. It's harder for me to do it on the range because a lot of times I'll do that and I'll go hit some shots and I'll pull one, and when I edit the video it doesn't really come out. But I think today is a good time to do it. The sun is out. We just had Halloween last night and we've had probably 6 days of just dreadful weather, but today is just beautiful. I should be out hitting balls. But I do have a lot of clubs in my collection. This is maybe only like 6 or 7 of them. I have probably about 18 or 20 drivers. A lot of these drivers have really cool stories, and one I will start with, one that I really like to hit, is this Tommy Armour 1951 693 model that I mentioned Tom Kite played. And I want to zoom in and show you the grain if I can on this club. I'm going to come over here and see if I can get this on the camera really well. Where is it? Too high? There you go. Let's see if you can see that grain. It's pretty straight. This grain is really what you would kind of refer to as straight across. Move it out a little bit. And this is excellent grain. The MacGregors, as everyone knows, they were old growth persimmon. And a lot of times you get like U grain, which some of these clubs have, but this Tom Kite 693 has what Dave Wood told me one time, perfect grain would be straight across. A lot of people like that. Some people prefer like a horseshoe. But this club has really nice grain, and it's probably as solid a club as I've ever hit. It's got a red fiber insert. These clubs were made for a few years in the very early 50s. Hopefully you guys can see that in the video. There's another one I have here. Is a Wood Bros Texan. And this club was played by Bernhard Langer, Hall of Fame member. And it has incredibly good, perfect U grain. I'm going to show it to you if you can see that. It's exceptionally good. It's really, really tight, and if you count the growth lines, there's about 75 growth lines in this club, and a lot of times, you'd probably only see about 35 or 40, but this is an incredibly good block. And I'm going to go back to the Tom Kite driver, because I do have a story about this club. I won it in an auction. This guy in Minnesota, Second Swing, was selling a bunch of Tom's clubs, and I bought this one. And long story short, I was able to talk to his son, David Kite, over the phone, and I said, I've got one of your father's clubs, and it's a 693, and I think he used it in '84, because I remember watching the Masters, and you can even see it on YouTube. He's using a 693, and he said, well, why don't you send me some pictures? I sent him a bunch of pictures, and 2 weeks later he came back to me in a text message and said, Fred, that is my father's 693. He verified that was his club. He used it on tour, he traveled with it, and it got a little bit of damage, he said, and he remembered there's a piece of the sole plate right here that is kind of like a little short in that area, and he remembers repairing it. And Tom Kite did a lot of repair work with his dad in his workshop, so Tom Kite actually refinished this club and did custom work on it. It's a really nice club, and I'm not sure of the shaft of this club, but I'm pretty sure it's probably like an S300. And it's 43.5 inches long, actually a smidgen shorter than that, probably 43 3/8, which a lot of the guys who weren't really tall players used that length. I know Gene Sowers used that same length too, and I've got one of his clubs. But in long story short, he won Durrell with this, Tom Kite. I've got a Golf Week magazine in my house that shows a picture of him the week after he won Durrell, and is a really good close-up of the club during his follow-through. It's really neat. And about a week or two later at the Masters, on the back nine on Sunday, he was only 1 or 2 shots out. He almost won the Masters using this driver. Bernhard Langer acquired this club in 1988 at the LA Open. And Dave Wood tells me the story. He was trying this driver on the range, this Wood Brothers driver. And it was a demo club. See that? And Dave Wood didn't want to give the club up because it was his tour demo. But Bernhard Langer demanded on keeping it. So that's what he did. And Bernhard Langer kept it for a few years, used it a lot in Europe and practiced with it. Dave said he probably hit thousands of balls with it. Dave said he did see Bernhard using this one year at the Masters. And shortly after he acquired it, the Darrell survey said that Bernhard Langer was using a Dave Wood signature driver. Now, if you look at this club, it has Dave Wood's signature on the back. I'm going to show it to you. So for a while, Darrell survey called this the Dave Wood signature driver. And Bernhard Langer had it in his bag for a couple of years. And I'm almost sure he won the German Masters in '88 with it. I'm not positive. But the coolest thing is, a few summers ago, the seniors were in Belmont. And I actually talked to Bernhard Langer about this driver. And he was putting out during a practice round. And I got his attention. And I said, Bernhard, I have one of your old drivers. It's a Wood Brothers. At first he was kind of like looking at me. And then I started describing it in detail. And then he whipped his head around and he said, how did you get that club? And I thought that was really cool. And I said I acquired it from Dave Wood, who's a friend of mine. He said, you know what, Wood Brothers made a great club. He said, I still have about 14 of them. And I'm going to show you some other clubs that are really cool. This is another Wood Brothers driver. This belonged to Gene Sowers. This club has amazing grain. Let's see it. That is what you call perfect grain. It's really tight. It's right up at the top of the pier. And it's kind of what they call like a U grain. It's a really nice club. Here's a nice Hogan that I have in my collection. This is from around '83. I don't think it has ever hit a golf ball before I got it. I have hit a few shots with it. But this came from a Hogan rep. And it was one of Ben Hogan's original reps out in Ohio. And he was a friend of Ben's. And this grain is amazing too. This is probably the best Ben Hogan driver I've seen. I'm thinking it might have been something that Ben selected and gave this rep as maybe a demo club or something that he could use. And it even has a very similar grip to what Ben Hogan used. It has some kind of build up here. It's kind of like a metal coat hanger type thing in the back. It's like a rib. I would really love to get the story on this, but unfortunately the rep passed away. I almost thought that maybe the club was built for Ben and maybe he gave it to the rep. I don't know. It has a Vector 5 shaft, which is a extra stiff, and I think the Vector was a slightly lightweight shaft. Here's another club that I just had refinished by Dave Wood. It is the famous 693, just very similar to the Tom Kite driver, same model. Was not played on tour as far as I know. But this club, Dave Wood told me that he thinks this is probably one of the best 693s that he's ever seen. If you see that black stuff on the toe, that is natural to the wood. It's called carbon. Basically it means that the wood came from the bottom section of a very old tree. And the wood is super hard. I've hit this club a lot and it is incredibly solid. It's a 693, which was made in around 1951 for a few years. See, Dave Wood signed a DW on the back of it. This is a really nice 945 like jack plate, also made in the very early 50s. You can see the grain on this has perfect horseshoe type grain. Tommy Armour 945. I just acquired this recently from a good seller in Napa, California. But again, I want to try to get a close-up again of this Tom Kite driver. guys see the grain. The club's still in perfect condition, really, for a club this old. You see the sole plate's pretty worn out. I'm sure Tom probably hit 10,000 golf balls with this. Well, that's some of the woods I have in my collection. Someday I'll make another video, show you some more. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you for watching my videos and subscribing. Have an awesome day. Get out there and hit some woods. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you use a soft ball though. I would recommend Callaway Chrome. The super soft is also good, but I think it's kind of spongy. Strixon makes a good ball, and also Wilson makes some really good soft balls for persimmon. Did I cover all the woods? I think I did. Again, this is Wood Brothers. This is a 693. This is Bernhard Lange's first Texan. By the way, I didn't mention that Bernhard Lange was the last player to win a major using a wood, and it was a Wood Brothers, not this one. It was a custom club that Dave made in the very early 90s. And Dave got this back around 93 at the PGA Merchandise Show. And Bernhard Lange's caddy, Pete Coleman, gave it back to him, and Dave held on to it for a long time. And I was lucky to acquire that exactly 10 years ago, almost to the week. So I've had this club for 10 years. It's really solid. This Texan has an S500 shaft. It's pretty stiff. I hit this pretty well when I'm swinging really good and really loose. I'll end it with that. Again, thank you for watching this video. Hope you saw what you wanted to see. You don't see a lot of guys out there hitting persimmon, but there's many of us that do it. It's a lot of fun.